All right, let's just jump right into it. Today, we're diving into this absolutely bizarre, yet somehow incredibly fascinating corner of internet folklore. I'm talking about the GoAnimated grounded subculture. In this explainer, we're going to zero in on its completely accidental star. You know him, you love him, or maybe you just pity him. It's Boris, the deeply angry, deep-voiced animated dad.
Here's a quick roadmap for what we're looking at today. We'll start with the Grounded series itself, look at the rise of Boris, break down the anatomy of those wild titles, check out the quotes and catchphrases, talk about the future of Boris, and finally wrap it all up.
Kicking things off with Part 1, the Grounded series.
So just to set the stage here, what exactly are we talking about when we say grounded video in the context of early YouTube? Well, it's basically when creators take that very mundane childhood fear, getting grounded, and literally stretch it to its absolute logic-defying limits. You've got a troublemaker, usually a parody of some preschool character, who does something wrong and then just faces the absolute ultimate wrath of their parents.
And honestly, this right here perfectly illustrates how the internet can just completely hijack a piece of software. I mean, GoAnimate launched back in 2007 as a cloud-based tool for making boring corporate training presentations. But skip to 2011, and users realized they could use these stiff, drag-and-drop assets to make totally unhinged stories. Even after the platform rebranded to Vyond in 2018 and ditched the old Flash style, the community absolutely refused to let it go. Digital archivists are literally keeping this thing alive all the way into 2026.
And look at the sheer variety of the offenses here. It's just staggering. The reasons these characters get punished wildly fluctuate between actual literal crimes, like pulling a fire alarm or poisoning a food supply, and completely surreal, arbitrary complaints, like making a fake VHS opening or, I don't know, breathing too loud. There is literally zero logic to the scale of the crime versus the punishment. It's wild.
Moving right along to Part 2, the rise of Boris himself.
So this brings us to a really massive shift in the lore. Back in the day, the videos usually focused on punishing characters from toddler shows like Caillou and Rosie. And Boris, well, he was created from GoAnimate's Comedy World theme. And he started out as the strict, deep-voiced dad who actually handed out the punishments. But then, the internet completely turned the tables. It's like an inverted hero's journey. The patriarch who used to dish out the grounding became the universe's ultimate punching bag. Now he's the one constantly getting grounded by his own parents, his friends, or, get this, even his own clones.
And as digital folklore researcher Dr. Elena Rostova points out, the community actually evolved the joke. It stopped being just a quick, repetitive shock value gag, and it turned into this complex, remixable narrative. Creators essentially started treating Boris's misadventures like a bizarre, multi-season soap opera that fans could genuinely follow along with. Up next, Section 3. Let's look at the anatomy of a title.
Because this subculture is just so unbelievably vast, creators ended up developing this predictable yet hilariously deadpan algorithmic formula for their titles. First, you've got the troublemaker, usually Boris, sometimes with a fan-given last name Anderson. Then you add the absurd action, like blowing an air horn at people or burning someone's house down for their birthday. And finally, you have the consequence, which is always inevitably getting grounded. It tells you exactly what kind of bizarre 10-minute saga you're about to sit through.
All right, Part 4. Quotes and catchphrases.
You really can't talk about the grounded universe without digging into its unique linguistics, right? The dialogue is just as algorithmic as the titles. If you've spent any time at all in this corner of the internet, you know exactly how this sounds. Oh, you are grounded, 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 grounded. It's that specific string of text repeated over and over that visually and audibly emphasizes this weird manufactured rage. Once a character gets busted, this is the inevitable audio trigger that signals their absolute doom.
And honestly, the delivery is everything. That booming, robotic text-to-speech voice Boris uses, it's officially named Eric, and it comes from the TTS provider Ivana. The rigid limitations of this Eric voice are actually what give it so much charm. It delivers this explosive, world-ending anger in a completely flat robotic tone. Fans absolutely eat up that hilarious contrast.
Plus, that robotic delivery perfectly complements the completely absurd sentencing. I mean, it is entirely normal for Boris to get grounded for, say, 400 billion years. Sometimes creators just match the keyboard, resulting in trillions of years or punishments that last, quote, until the sun explodes. The numbers don't actually matter. It's the constant escalation that keeps everyone coming back for more.
So, the crucial thing to note here is that pretty much every single interaction ends the exact same way. Go to your room right now and don't come out until you are ungrounded. That completely made-up word, ungrounded, is the cue. It triggers this signature distorted audio loop of the character running away crying, which cements the end of the ritual.
The punishment is set, the tears are shed, and that's a wrap on the scene.
Which brings us to Section 5, the future of Boris. So what happens now? Even though tech platforms have completely shifted away from these legacy Flash animation styles, especially after Adobe Flash died and GoAnimate moved to the modern Viant platform, this community just flat out refuses to let Boris die. They're using offline tools and wrappers to preserve the old GoAnimate software, dedicated YouTube compilation channels are still racking up millions of views, and Boris? He's now crossing over with characters from internet horror games and indie web series. The guy has truly secured his status as an absolute icon of Web 2.0 internet weirdness.
And finally, Section 6. Let's wrap this up. To really wrap our heads around this highly specific digital hangover, the main thing you should take away from this explainer is that Boris isn't just some passing meme. He's a true testament to the internet's desire to collaboratively build these absurd, sprawling universes. I mean, people literally took a tool designed to explain corporate synergy and turned it into a decade-long saga about an angry guy getting grounded for stealing a beanie. It's just incredible.
It really leaves you wondering about the whole psychology of digital repetition, doesn't it? Like, after billions of years of punishments, will we ever actually see the day Boris gets ungrounded? Probably not. But honestly, that's exactly why we can't look away. Thanks for exploring this strange, strange world with us today.